When you're tasting espresso, you have to know things in order to tell whether or not it's a good shot of espresso or not. Like writing an essay, you have to know about grammatical structure and all that spiel in order for it to be coherent and flowing. And there's reasoning to this. No one made these rules for fun, but in order to communicate effectively to a broad audience. When I say bitter coffee or incomplete sentence, you know what I mean because of these generally accepted rules. But why? Why is what we consider good, good? A good cup of coffee can range from a $1 cup of Joe at the local diner or a meticulously dialed-in roast from a specialty coffee place. And can the same thing be said about the human experience in psychology? Just because I know some jargon, like acidity, doesn't change the coffee itself. What about the human condition? Just because we can label the symptoms, does it make our cup of life any better? I taste the Monarch espresso. I taste the decaf espresso. I taste the mistake of ordering both of them at the same time, where time is the only thing they got going for them. In terms of flavor, I don't like them. They taste like a sibling rivalry, trying to compete against each other, stuck in their ways. One chocolatey and one stubborn to imitate it. Sad to say, I don't like either. They seem to be too forward and their flavors come way too quick, rushing my palate as both of them lay dead, only half empty, being able to give me half of their attention. A true tragedy that they didn't come out on their own, but a beautiful tragedy at that. I appreciated their time, and even if the espresso did strike each of my taste buds with volatility, I understood it wasn't their fault. It was how they were meant to be. Day 2. I'm back to tasting espresso. This time I'm doing it right. I just ordered the Monarch, the house blend, and I tasted it. I still tasted something I didn't enjoy, but this time more subtly. I found myself some pleasure in it, like visiting someone you had fond memories of in the past. I could see myself being reminded of all the time all coffee tasted as. But now it tasted a little bit less as, and by that pattern, I could foresee myself one day not remembering the assness of the espresso at all. Just like an old friend from high school, slowly fading away in my memory. This time, I'm doing it right. I take that back. Reflecting back on it, I don't think I could do it right this time or any time, matter of fact. This time, I'm doing it differently, and that's about all I could do. Now I'm tasting the decaf named Goodnight. I taste a tartness with newfound appreciation from having tasted the Monarch separately. I've come to enjoy it more, now that it's been separated like siblings that were once at each other's throat, now having grown older. They've learned to not only tolerate each other, but to come to appreciate each other for all they had taken for granted. In due fashion, I caught someone's glance on me, and I stopped tasting to talk a little. By the time I got back to tasting the espresso, I was just able to say my goodbyes to the temperature of the decaf, and shortly after was met by the unforgiving acidity that came with the now not so gentle goodnight. It reminds me of my sister. I miss her. Serving espresso, having espresso served, I've come to realize it's all a sham. The fancy words, the pretty presentation, all of it. Just like classical music can be classified no differently than by just some strings vibrating. But what isn't a sham is the connections we make and the emotions we feel from it. Regardless of what medium you use, auditory, visual, or anything sensory, the way a sip can make you feel anything at all even, regardless of logic or objectivity, is the reason why I will continue to sip this brown water and continue to write these fancy words. And is the same reason why you've continued to watch this silly video. Thank you.